I'm about to share with you a part of me that I'm not exactly proud of. I struggle with anxiety. I believe anxiety is different for different people. Personally, for me, when I experience anxiety, my body will go numb, my heart rate will skyrocket, I will have sweaty palms, and my mind would either go blank or it will start to overthink things. To be honest, I don't think I'm qualified to be talking or sharing about an issue as complex and broad as this. I feel and I know that I don't experience anxiety to an extreme level, and I know that there are many out there who experience it worse than me. But still, I'm hoping that by openly sharing about my experience, it would help someone or it would just inspire more open conversations about this. There can be many causes to anxiety. Today, I'd like to dive deeper into what's called performance anxiety. This is essentially a state where you feel extreme nervousness before or during an activity. I wanted to have a better perspective on how and also why anxiety develops in people. So I reached out to Alan, a professional psychologist who has been in this field of work for 10 years.
But actually, anxiety is actually very much it's actually very much a symptom of what is actually happening. It's just for me, it's actually a symptom. There are other schools of thought which we say that anxiety is the problem, but also we need to find out what is the trigger. And usually, based on my work, based on my research, also underneath this anxiety is this feelings of insecurity, kind of just feel not safe, you know. And you have these feelings come up whenever we perceive that there's some kind of a loss or a lack.
After hearing Alan dissect this topic, I felt like my perspective on anxiety became a lot more clear. And yes, my hair is short now. I strongly believe who we are as a person today stems from the experiences we've gone through yesterday.
Your relationships with people, relationship with your families, ability, if you don't have a certain ability, education.
And as Alan was going through a few attributes that could possibly contribute to anxiety, something hit.
And then another one is very important, validation. Lack of that kind of validation, especially when we are young, we need some form of affirmation or validation.
And it all came rushing back towards me. I would like to take you back to this moment, my first ever basketball competition. I believe some roots of my anxiety can be traced back to this sport which I truly enjoy playing. I joined my first basketball competition when I was 11 years old. I can still feel the nerves and the excitement when I first got selected to compete. Things went pretty well for my team, but not for me. We won the championship, but that's also when I first experienced what anxiety looks like for me. I underperformed and played with fear. It was always very frustrating, but when the next round came, the same thing happened again. I would experience anxiety which led to fear, to overthinking, and to many regrets knowing I could have done better. I've never looked too deeply into anxiety. I've always thought that with experience I will be able to overcome it. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Fast forward to this very day. After 10 years of playing basketball and lots of practice, I still have anxious thoughts that will lead to fear. My body still gets numb during a basketball match. I struggle to make shots that I would normally make in practice. Everything in the competition just feels enlarged. Honestly speaking, this doesn't just happen in a basketball court, but also in life, especially when the stakes are high. Alright, I already told you my story beforehand about how I always get anxiety before a basketball match and stuff.
Usually when I see people who have anxiety, you know, there are so many type of triggers. If the trigger is big enough, you feel that kind of insecurity, and then you feel anxious. When you grow up with a lot with lack of validation, lack of affirmation, a lot of ridicule, a lot of put down, what happens is you have a lot of self-doubt. A person who is supposed to give you the kind of security is not there to say that, hey, try it. I'll be always there for you.
After this conversation, I came to find out something that was hidden inside of me, a need to prove myself. Ever since I was young, I've lacked the validation from my family when it comes to basketball. This started when I often shared to them about my dream of wanting to make it into the NBA. When I shared this dream, I would often be told that it wasn't realistic or it is impossible. My need to prove myself started to fester and grow. I did not have a safety net when it comes to playing basketball.
When people are young, they can't see the whole journey. Like for example, the NBA. I mean, it's a whole journey. Yeah. What parents could do? I mean, since we come to this topic, what parents could do is when they hear this kind of dreams, say, okay, you want to go to NBA? That's great. Let's look at the whole process. Maybe you want to play in school first. Probably you want to play at a normal playground. I think it will be helpful to make the journey more certain, more realistic. I know Asian parents are very, very, very realistic. When they find that this is realistic, they just tell you, this is not right. Yeah. But immediately saying it outright will sort of dampen the ambition, dampen the interest, those kind of things. And then and especially if they really want it some more, they will go for it that time. They always feel they're not supported. One thing parents could do when they hear this kind of dreams and it doesn't fit their values, their perspective, they should just pause for a while first before saying that it can't be done. Let's think about it for a while. Then it will be helpful to the child for whatever type of dream. It's not just sports dream. It can be anything.
As I look back at my life, I now see that this root of anxiety has been following me around for years. I've always felt deep down a need to prove myself to others. I don't think I had the support that I needed when I was on a basketball court. It was always me against everyone else. It was clear to me the point Alan was making. Anxiety mostly stems from a point of lack. A lack in relationships, a lack in security, a lack in validation, a lack. And so I asked for his advice when it comes to dealing with anxiety.
Okay, when anxiety comes up to a certain level and we don't find a way how to sort of stabilize it or actually bring it down, it may just trigger this fight, flight, or freeze mode. How to bring it down means it's actually symptom management only at that time. So let's just talk about in your context first. Symptomatically, if anxiety comes in, you need to ground yourself instead of worrying and seeing things, people, the whole commotion. When tournaments at times is very, very noisy commotion. What I can advise you to do is learn how to ground yourself. You can ground yourself by doing this formula. We call it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 5 things that I can see. But whatever 5 things that falls in the line of sight, 4 that you can hear, 3 that you can touch with your body. For example, you are standing up, it's your legs, your foot lah. 2 that you can smell, and then 1 that you can taste, especially something you have eaten before, that there's some aftertaste also can. Do it about 3 times. Then you feel a bit more grounded.
So, for example, just now you say like one of the cause of anxiety is when they do not receive enough validation, right? So how do we tackle this?
As you grow up already, you can't be asking your parent to give you it. It doesn't make sense anymore. Yeah. It doesn't make sense anymore. In that case, in order to get validation is usually, I think probably in the groups that you play with. People accepting, very accepting groups, you sort of encourage each other, get a good coach.
Find a place where you belong.
Find a place where people will accept you more. Find the triggers and then resolve it. If there are so many triggers, pick one trigger that you can solve quickly one. that you have the ability to do so. At least one. List down the triggers, knowing where it comes from. Manage the symptom also. Anxiety is a symptom. That is very much standard. You ground yourself. But trigger one is not very standard. It's different from one person to another. Then you list it down and see which one you can work on.
I know that my struggles won't magically disappear after this video, and I'm still constantly learning to deal with my struggles better. And I hope this video helps you, even if it's in a small way. Thanks for watching. Bye.